Hello all. I hope everything is fine at your end. So now we are going to read story named The Snow Globe That Held Tomorrow. Let's start. On the edge of a quiet mountain village stood a tiny antique shop called the Whispering Shell. Its wooden windows were filled with old music boxes, pocket watches, faded maps, and shelves of dusty books that seemed to hold stories of their own. The shop belonged to an elderly woman named Evelyn, who welcomed every visitor with a warm smile and a cup of cinnamon tea. People came searching for rare treasures, yet they often left carrying something where they hadn't expected, a new sense of hope. One snow afternoon, a thoughtful 14-year-old boy named Daniel wandered into the shop while trying to escape the cold. As he looked around, one object immediately caught his attention. On the highest shelf rested a beautiful snow globe, unlike any he had ever seen. Inside it stood a tiny village surrounded by pine trees, glowing lanterns, and a peaceful frozen lake. Above the village shimmered tiny silver stars that never seemed to stop twinkling. It's beautiful, Daniel whispered. Evelyn smiled gently. It has been waiting for someone. For me, perhaps. Daniel carefully lifted the snow globe. Snowflakes inside began to swirl even though he hadn't shaken it. As they settled, he noticed something strange. The tiny people inside the globe were smiling as they prepared colorful lanterns for a festival. The scene felt unusually real. The next day, Daniel returned to the shop. The snow globe showed a different scene. Children were planting young trees beside the frozen lake. On the third day, villagers gathered to repair an old wooden bridge together. Every visit revealed another peaceful moment. Daniel became fascinated. Why does it keep changing? Evelyn looked thoughtfully at the globe. It doesn't show the future, it shows possible tomorrows. Daniel frowned. I don't understand. It reflects the future people create through today's choices. Daniel carried those words with him. Over the following weeks, he noticed something remarkable. Whenever he spent time helping others, the tiny village inside the globe became brighter. When he ignored someone in need or allowed frustration to guide his actions, the village looked quieter and less colorful. One afternoon, Daniel helped an elderly neighbor shovel snow from her driveway. That evening, tiny children inside the globe built snowman and laughed together. Another day, he shared his lunch with a classmate who had forgotten theirs. Later, the miniature marketplace inside the globe filled with smiling families. The connection couldn't be coincidence. One winter evening, a fierce snowstorm swept across the mountains. The roads became difficult to travel. Electric lights flickered throughout the village. Many families stayed indoors. Daniel hurried to the antique shop to make sure Evelyn was safe. When he entered, he found the snow globe glowing with a soft blue light. For the first time, the tiny village inside was completely still. No lanterns, no laughter, no movement, only silence. A single silver snowflake slowly drifted to the bottom of the globe. Tiny glowing words appeared upon it. Tomorrow waits for today's courage. Daniel looked at Evelyn. What does it mean? She gently placed the snow globe into his hands. I believe, she whispered, it's time for you to discover how tomorrow is truly made. Outside the storm continued to fall. Holding the glowing snow globe close to his heart, Daniel stepped into the snowy night, ready to begin a journey that would change not only his future but the future of everyone around him. Daniel carefully carried the glowing snow globe through the falling snow. The tiny silver snowflake inside continued to shine, lighting a narrow path that led beyond the village and into the silent pine forest. He had never walked that trail before. The deeper he ventured, the quieter the world became. Snow rested gently on every branch, and the moonlight made the forest sparkle like a sea of tiny diamonds. After nearly an hour, Daniel reached a small clearing. In its center stood an old stone observatory with a glass dome that reflected the stars above. Although it looked abandoned, a warm golden light glowed from within. Daniel slowly pushed open the wooden door. Inside, countless snow globes rest on tall wooden shelves. Some contain peaceful villages, others held forests, mountains, oceans, or tiny cities filled with glowing lanterns. Standing beside a large telescope was an elderly man wearing a silver cloak. His gentle eyes sparkled with kindness. Welcome, Daniel, he said. I've been expecting you. Daniel looked around in amazement. Who are you? I'm Elias, the keeper of tomorrow. He smiled and gently lifted Daniel's snow globe. It has shown you what many people never discover. Daniel looked puzzled. Possible tomorrows? Elias nodded. Every choice you make creates a path. No future is fixed. Each kind action, each brave decision, and each moment of compassion shape tomorrow. Daniel thought about the glowing village inside the globe. So if people lose hope, tomorrow changes? Exactly. Elias toward a magnificent crystal window overlooking the snowy valley. Fear can make tomorrow smaller, but hope always gives it room to grow. The next morning, Daniel returned to his village with the new understanding. Instead of keeping the snow globe a secret, he decided to help create a brighter tomorrow through simple actions. He visited elderly neighbors who struggled during the heavy snowfall. He helped repair broken fences damaged by the storm. He organized village children to clear icy pathways for families. Soon others began joining him. The carpenter repaired damaged roofs. The baker delivered warm bread to anyone unable to leave home. Teachers opened a school library so children could stay warm and read together. Doctors visited elderly residents without waiting to be called. The village slowly filled with laughter despite the cold winter. Every evening, Daniel looked into the snow globe. Each day, the tiny village became brighter. Children skated across the frozen lake. Musicians played cheerful songs in the square. Lanterns glowed warmly from every window. The future inside the globe reflected the kindness growing outside it. 1 week later, another snowstorm approached. This time, however, the villagers were ready. They had already stored extra food. Neighbors checked on one another before the storm arrived. Firewood was shared freely. No one faced the storm alone. When the winds finally passed, the village stood stronger than ever. That evening, Daniel visited the observatory once more. The shelves of snow globes shimmered softly in the starlight. Elias smiled proudly. You have learned the greatest lesson. Daniel asked quietly, what lesson is that? The keeper of tomorrow gently placed the snow globe back into Daniel's hands. Tomorrow is not something we wait for, it's something we build. Years passed. Daniel grew into a thoughtful village leader known for his wisdom and kindness. Whenever difficult decision had to be made, people trusted him because he always considered how today's action would affect tomorrow. The little antique shop remained open and evening continued welcoming visitor with her warm smile and ceremony tea. One day she quietly placed the beautiful snow globe back into the highest shelf. Its work with Daniel was complete. Now it waited patiently for another person who needed to understand its secret. One snowy afternoon, curious young girl entered the shop. Her eyes immediately found the sparkling snow globe. It's beautiful, she whispered. Evelyn smiled knowingly. It has been waiting for someone. Far away, high above the peaceful mountain village, the first snowflakes of winter began to fall. Each one reminded the villagers that every new day was like fresh snow, untouched, full of possibility, and waiting for gentle footsteps to shape its path. And somewhere inside the magical snow globe, the tiny village glowed brighter than ever before. Its streets were filled with laughter, its homes were warm with kindness, its future was built one caring choice at a time. So, this was a story of the snow globe that held tomorrow. Now, the moral of the story. Tomorrow is created by the choices we make today. Every act of kindness, courage, and compassion builds a brighter future, not only for ourselves, but for everyone around us. So that was the moral of the story. I hope you like it. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment to the channel for more exciting stuff. Thank you.